Determine if 1/10 x squared minus 6x plus 36 hundredths is a factor of negative 1/10 x cubed plus 6 and 500ths x squared minus 3 and 36 hundredths x plus 18 hundredths. Use the standard long division algorithm. Okay, so we want to know if this first trinomial is a factor of this polynomial. And we can know that by dividing the two and seeing if it divides evenly, using the trinomial as our divisor and then the polynomial as our dividend. So let's go ahead and set that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and perform the long division. So we need to know what times 1/10 x squared will give us negative 1/10 x cubed. So we have the same number except one is negative, so we'll need to multiply by negative. And then to get from x squared to x cubed, we need to multiply by an x as well. So then multiplying negative x by all three terms, negative x times 1/10 x squared gives us negative 1/10 x cubed. Negative x times negative 6x gives us positive 6x. And negative x times 36 hundredths gives us negative 36 hundredths x. So then subtracting those, then we get negative 1/10 x cubed minus negative 1/10 x cubed. Well, that's plus, so it just adds to 0 as we expected. And then 6 and 500ths x squared minus, and remember it's minus 6x. So then minusing those, we'll get 500ths x squared. And then negative 3 and 36 hundredths x minus a negative or plus 36 hundredths x. Then that's going to give us minus 3x, because remember we were adding that. And then we can bring down our last term. So now, same step, then we want to see, well, what multiplied by 1/10 x squared gives us 500ths x squared. And so just remember that 1/10 is the same thing as 10 hundredths. And so 500ths is half of that. So we'll need to multiply this by 5/10, and then they both have an x squared, so we don't need to multiply it by anything else. So now let's go ahead and multiply 5/10 by all three terms. So 5/10 times 1/10 x squared gives us 500ths x squared. 5/10 times negative 6x gives us minus 3x. And 5/10 times 36 hundredths, again, that's half, so it's going to be 18 hundredths. And so then subtracting that, we see that these two things are exactly the same. So if we're subtracting the exact same thing, we get 0 as a remainder. And so we do know that this trinomial 1/10 x squared minus 6x plus 36 hundredths will be a factor because it divides with a remainder of 0. And so we know it divides evenly. So let's go ahead and summarize our answer. Because negative 1/10 x cubed plus 6 and 500ths x squared minus 3 and 36 hundredths x plus 18 hundredths divided by 1/10 x squared minus 6x plus 36 hundredths is negative x plus 5/10 with no remainder. 1/10 x squared minus 6x plus 36 hundredths is a factor of negative 1/10 x cubed plus 6 and 500ths x squared minus 3 and 36 hundredths x plus 18 hundredths.